Today we're talking about the most famous dog in Canadian history. I'm in Meaford, Ontario today, and we're talking about Beautiful Joe.
The role animals play in Western society, especially North American, this past century, has been an evolving one. The lives of our pets are different than even a decade ago. Grooming, dog walkers, organic food, training, and of course, the funny outfits. In the 1800s, dogs were viewed as and treated entirely different. This is the story of how a small dog named Joe in Meaford, Ontario, went on to change the treatment of animals forever.
Now, Joe was a terrier mix, an Airedale type dog. He had had a very hard life here in Meaford. His owner had cut off his ears, his tail, until luckily the Moore family came around.
The abused dog, sadly, shared a similar situation to many at the time. Abuse, neglect, abandonment, and poor health. Thankfully, in 1890, the cycle of abuse for Joe was ended, when the Moore family stepped in to take him in, rehab him, and give him the life they believed all dogs deserve.
The Moore family had a guest in the early 1890s, Margaret Marshall Saunders. She came here to Meaford and saw both the beauty of saving him and helping him, and the beauty of Joe himself.
Nova Scotian Margaret Marshall Saunders' brother was married to Louise Moore, the daughter of Walter Moore, who had taken the dog in. She was so touched by the turn of events for Joe that she decided to write a full-length novel from the viewpoint of Joe. This was rare for books at the time. Similarities obviously drawn to the novel Black Beauty, which Saunders cleverly references within Beautiful Joe. As a sign of the times, Margaret decided to publish the book under a more masculine-appearing Marshall Saunders. She changed the location of the story to Maine and the family name to Morris, and submitted the book to a American Humane Society contest in 1893. The book would win and would be published shortly after. The autobiographical nature of the book connected with people, and to many, had them question the role dogs and animals played within their lives. The book was a monumental success. By 1900, the novel had sold over 1 million copies around the world, the first Canadian book to do so.
Now, the book Beautiful Joe was a phenomenon. It became one of the best-selling Canadian books of all time. By the 1930s, it had sold over 7 million copies around the world.
The story of Beautiful Joe was very much moving the needle on the animal rights movements around the Western world. Not only was it one of the highest-selling novels around the world, it was resulting in tangible funding, awareness, and advocacy for animals. The book, since publication, has been translated into over a dozen languages, used in everything from elementary schools to universities, still to this day. The author, Margaret Marshall Saunders, was a trailblazer in many regards. Her advocacy for animals was matched with her fervor and work for women's issues. Not only was she one of the best-selling Canadian authors of all time, but someone, along with a pup from a small Ontario town, that would alter the treatment of animals in the Western world, hopefully, forever.
And that is how a small terrier named Joe in Meaford, Ontario, went on to become the most influential dog of all time.
If this story piqued your interest, please take a moment to visit beautifuljoe.org. Consider donating to your local animal shelters and rescues, or simply let your pup sneak some extra leftovers from your kitchen.